Hi you guys, I'm doing a little impromptu video regarding this Pluto Mars transit that's been going on. I know I talked about it in my weekly bump, but I just kind of felt like it was worth talking about a little bit more. And I've been asking friends and kind of asking them what's going on in your life, and I'm getting a mixed bag. Some people are experiencing nothing at all. Everything is normal, smooth sailing, everything's totally fine. And then other people's lives are like so out of control that they don't even know, like they're just kind of, some people are just giving up. It's like I can't control my relationship anymore. I can't control the people that I work with anymore. I don't have a handle on this, and I don't know what to do. I'm almost ready to just give up and walk away from everything. And I think one of the most important things that this transit's really bringing about is this sense of caring. And it's a caring about life, and it's a caring about the things that are really, truly important. Structures and routines and ideas and all these things are kind of being put on the back burner. And it's like really getting down to brass tacks and saying, what do I care about? A lot of people that have set a lot of materialistic goals in their lifetime might be having a hard time with this transit too, because it might be like you work so hard for all of these things and you dedicated so much time and there was all this progress, and now all of a sudden the meaning just sort of dissolves, and you realize that maybe you really were working under some form of an illusion in some way. And the focus is going inward. And it's about, okay, well, I need to get in contact with my soul, and I need to have a little heart-to-heart with myself and really ask myself what it is that's truly motivating me and what it is that I feel that I can do to really contribute. You know, that idea or that word contribute has been a theme for me over the past couple weeks as I'm watching Uranus like on that brink of entering into Taurus. You know, the humanitarian contribution. What are you doing to contribute to the world? And by learning all the things that you've learned about yourself, now you are, or we are all seemingly at a position where we are now being called up to shift focus, and Pluto and Mars is what is aligning us to that true purpose. One of the ways that it manifested for me, if I may share something personal, was me accepting that I was living a very hypocritical life, claiming to believe something, claiming to believe in morality and believing in what's good and believing in what's right, but at the same time fearful of the consequences should I not conform, should I not do what I'm supposed to do. And I had to come to grips with that, because what I was really asking is like, and I'm not going to share it publicly, but literally it was like, do I continue to operate and contribute to this particular system that is completely against everything that I believe, for fear of the repercussions, because guaranteed there will be repercussions at some point? Am I willing to go to the extremes to stand up for morality and to stand up for goodness? And I think that the answer to that question for me was yes. Like, yes, I am willing to go to the other extreme just so I don't continue to contribute to this way of life, to this way of living, because it's something that I completely don't agree with. So what am I willing to do? And that's maybe something that's coming up for you. Like, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to risk? And I think that there's courage that is being pulled up out of us in many, many different kinds of ways, and in many different, the darkest corners of our soul is like, okay, it's time for you to be strong. It's time for you to have the courage and to not be afraid and to walk into this new realm. Okay, and I know that a lot of the weekly readings and I know that a lot of the monthly readings was like, here's the world card, you know, here's that portal, that idea of the new chapter, whatever the heck that's supposed to mean. You know, they all just kind of shade into each other at some point. But here's that new chapter, and you're asked to walk through it, and just to see what happens, you know, kind of thing. And some people are really not ready to walk through. And again, I'm repeating myself over and over, and I make no apologies for that, but this is the vibrational separation between our society. People that are operating at a lower vibration, people that are constantly negative, people that never really can see the good things out of anything, the people that refuse to learn lessons and to change their life, the people that keep going through the same repeated behavior over and over and over. Those people are getting lower and lower and lower in their vibrations. And just as much, you know, as what's that saying, birds of a feather flock together, you know, they're kind of festering and feeding off of that same vibration, just as much as higher and higher vibrational people are feeding and festering in their higher vibrations, right? Festering might have a little bit too much of a negative connotation for the high vibrations, but still, it's like they're stewing and they're working together. So are these people. We're all working together, but what are they working together for? You know, and people that are focused on love and focused on compassion and not so much worried about me, those are the people that are going to be bringing in us into this kind of new dimension that we are hearing so much about, this new fourth density. And because Pluto can be a scary place. You know, Mars doesn't necessarily want to go to the underworld. Mars doesn't necessarily want to go see Hades, you know. It is a scary place. It is unknown. It is this place of truth. You know, that's one thing that Scorpio in the 8th house and the Pluto is truth and the occult knowledge. And because we have that Pluto concept with Mars, you know, in Capricorn, it's like truth of structures and not, but it's the institutions, it's the concept of marriage, it's the concept of government, it's the concept of religion, it's everything that is dictating some kind of code or restricting us in some kind of way, right? That's Saturn, the restrictions. It's limiting us in some kind of way. It's our law systems, it's our monetary systems, it's science, it's the limits that we have on spirituality, it's all these limitations, you know, and we're coming in contact with those from all different angles. It's like, you know, one of those pin cushions, you know, when people are sewing and they have all the little pins in there because they need to pin the fabric. It's like a pin cushion, and it's just all coming in from all different angles, and we're feeling it. And so again, let me go back to that sense of caring. What is it you really care about, and what is it that you are really willing to do and give up and to risk for that thing that you claim you care so much about? How are you living a life of hypocrisy? If you are, maybe you're not. Found myself, I was like, oh wow, I'm super hypocrite. I can't do that anymore. You know, I need to change regardless of the consequences, you know. And maybe I said this already, I don't remember if I said this, but there's also that question of how are you not free with Uranus coming into Taurus? You know, maybe I'm repeating myself. I know I said that in a weekly reading, but you know, how are you not free? And that's really coming to light because there's that urge to liberate, that urge for Uranus to break into a new sign, to create differences in a different area of life. It's the novelty that Uranus needs. Just something to really think about, something to mull over. With Saturn, anytime a planet goes retrograde, whether it's Mercury, Venus, Pluto, Saturn, it doesn't matter. whenever a planet goes retrograde, there's always room for revisiting. We revisit ideas, we revisit our ideals, we revisit the reasons why something happened, you know, and there's this analysis. And we do switch gears when planets go retrograde. When Saturn goes retrograde, we become more open. You know, we become less restricted in some ways. Or maybe for some of you, more restricted. But I often see a Saturn retrograde as being a little bit more lenient on oneself, being a little bit more forgiving on oneself. It's kind of like the slave driver or the one that has the whip taking a coffee break, you know, so that you can just kind of be free to breathe and to just let yourself be a human being, and to let yourself, okay, like, yeah, I made mistakes, but I don't need to be so hard on myself, and I can make adjustments as needed, make adjustments as necessary to the structures that even I instill in my own life, not only the structures that are imposed upon me culturally, societally, regarding our family and our friends, but, you know, governments and religion and money and science and all of those things too, you know. So it's a really good time for seeking truth. Pluto, planet of truth, Scorpio, the occult knowledge, you know, it's about truth, coming in contact with your own truth. And what you care about says a lot about you. The minute that someone says that they are caring about making their financial situation better, not that it's a bad thing because we are in a monetary system, but I'm like, is that really what you care about? You might want to really rethink about that. And being super judgmental, that's my Virgo judgmentalism coming out. But really, I think all of us can agree that while things like money and career success, they do help us, you know, and in essence, they do free you up to have more time and to be able to travel and to have more luxury things, and that's fine. But at some point, everyone agrees that that's not the meaning of life. You know, there's an extent where that comes to an end and where that stops having meaning, you know. And then we start to look outward of ourselves. We start to look at the implications of our success and how our success can have implications on other people. And, you know, again, Uranus being about humanitarian, and Uranus is about the global health, right? The global community. Hopefully it's what it's trying to do is it's trying to get us all oriented in one direction. It's trying to get us all headed into one direction. It's like trying to guide us like, hey, you know. But because we are all so randomized and we are all so geared and focused on totally different things, and interculturally, you know, some cultures are, you know, focused on just like needing to eat something, right? Because they don't have any money to eat. Whereas we're like, okay, well, we need to eat something. Which restaurant do we get to go choose? You know, kind of thing. So we're trying to get to all the same direction. And within our own material success, there is that point where we do start to look outwards and say, okay, one, how did I contribute to the state of the world as it is right now? And two, how do I help to make the world a better place? And when you align yourself with truth, with morality, with things that are good, with a life that is non-hypocritical, and that's the only time when you can really reach a true sense of authenticity and a true sense of this is me, and there's a true belief and there's no wavering, it doesn't change. That's when you really can contribute to the world, you know. So there's heavy stuff, you know, and you can use the power of this transit or these transits to actually change the world in a really wonderful way. So just some food for thought, just some things to think about as I was just kind of sitting here. I'm like, I'm gonna do a little video, see how it goes. So thanks guys so much. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good one. Bye.